All right, a very good morning to everybody. It's Warrior Junior here, and I do know that I went over like I like to get comfortable when I talk. Sometimes I got like feet on the bed and everything like that. So, I did mention it wasn't altercation. It's not altercation. It was about that guy that not like insecure. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the right word is to describe. And I'm not, this guy. That's not some of these people. I was saying, like, I told you. So, there's this chick, but again, she was a NQ, non-qualifier. If you know what I mean. You say, well, why are you talking to women? They're the ones that, it's like target practice. I call it target practice. People say, well, why? The general question is, well, why are you going to this abbey? Why are you standing outside? Look, if you're fishing, right? And let's say they say, well, there's a shitload of fish in there, but there's some like, and it's like the right fish, there's not that many, but they're in there too. But you gotta like go out there and do it. So how many straight dudes I've seen that go there, stand or whatever, go in whatever, and they're trying to talk to women. They don't care. They I already talked about this other videos. But apparently, this one brazen guy, huh, brazen gay guy, like I'm standing there, like outside of the, toward the corner of the club, not even inside far, and there's like this thing where, you could order cars or whatever, but there's nobody standing there. So I just like the positioning. I like the positioning. And this dude, like what? It's just there's a lot of people going here, there, where everything. So what I'm trying to do is just, kind of stay far enough away where I can observe everything. So that way, if I see something I like, I can move immediately. But otherwise, just stay off kind of away, from the middle of the psychoness, But I'm there, like it's because people can go up, down, whatever. But you want to be kind of close, but not in the middle of it because it's like just a lot sometimes. Depending. All these people are young, they're mature, they get drunk, stupid, and things. So it's like, kind of just want to like, what are you going there? It's look, this, there's a lot of people there. You want to go where there's action. That's what it is. Well, this guy, apparently, you know, I, I don't think I really stick out. I'm not trying to stick out or do anything to create much attention. I don't think I don't think it's necessary. But what happens is when you do things that are a little different, then people are going to notice. And every once in a while, someone's going to take action themselves and try to stop you from doing it. And that's what this guy did. But you know what it was? It was like it was an asteroid for sure, but it was like a deflection. It was like a wimpy one of the highest order. Because here's what he did. I already talked about this. Then I'll get into 9/11. I know you. I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna unleash everything on it, but I'll talk a little bit about it because it's like some stuff I want to get out. So what happened is the two guys. The one guy is like he's not saying nothing, and I felt no any type of aggression from him or anything. But the other guy, he came at me. He came at me. Now he wasn't like he didn't get. I don't know if he striking distance. Just but it wasn't threatening distance. So immediately, like he came up and he was very very hostile very quickly, and he goes to me like you waiting for a ride? You waiting for a ride? Like it wasn't like he was a driver or anything, but it was like a very type of weird. Like so, what went through my mind is like, okay, is this guy on drugs? Now you see how calm I am right now. That's how calm I was when this guy just came up to me and he goes, "You need a ride? Are you?" He didn't say you need a ride. He said, "You waiting for a ride? You waiting for a ride?" Like twice before, like he backed up, like and walked away. And as he was walking away, like quick, it was quick. And he said something about seeing me like on Saturday there. like, and I have no business. What am I doing here? I have no business being here, or something like that. Like real fast, real quick. Now his friend, whoever he was with, he stood like he just was put his foot up, against he was on the sidewalk, kind of like, and what it would have been, see what happened was, I was like, because what happens is anybody like approaches that hard, that hard with that, it's like yellow alert, like, and it's like I don't want to go like red alert, because it's like you don't want some of these people. They're drama queens. They're drama queens. Well, that's like they're trying to create something, some stir. I don't discount these people's intelligence, because if they see, maybe they could feel, it's like, dude, I know you're straight and you're trying to hit on women here, and this is our house, like you don't belong here, kind of thing. Like, I know there's people like that out there. This guy's probably one of them. Now, how does he know? How does he know? It doesn't matter. Like, but I could break these. I could break him mentally. I could fool him completely, because I could throw so many things at him verbally that he would not have a leg to stand on. Mentally, I could put him through the wood grinder, and he would have no chance against me. It's like that guy, like, you think you're going to challenge that somebody like, this high up in mathematics, and you just barely know some multiplication. I could throw a million things out of him that aren't true. I can say, what, like, is you got a problem with the LBGPT? How do you know that I'm not this? I could say, you can't. I'm prepared, because I study, I learn. I say, I used to think, you don't understand. And then I could really try to tear him apart, saying, dude, let me tell you something. I'm part of the solution, not part of the problem. He's going to say, he's going to look like a fucking idiot. But for whatever reason, he's insecure and threatened by my presence. And then he comes back, like, so then I told you the Battlestar Galactica chick that I saw, whatever. And she just wasn't really going for it, but it's okay. Like, I wasn't trying hard at it, because she wasn't even a qualifier. I was, it's called like target practice, I guess, like, I don't know, for fishing and stuff. I don't know why I'm using this analogy. I don't go fishing, but the whole thing is like, you want to like try, like kind of like trust the reel a little bit. I guess for pickup, it's called communication skills, because I'm not that good, but I am trying. I'm trying. And that's what it is. You just keep trying. It doesn't matter. Like, they don't need to know. I believe that's what it is. I believe it's called real. They call it PUA, the in PU pickup artists, is a real infield practice. Infield, when it's taking ground balls, infield or something. I don't know. I don't know why they called it that. In the field or something. But you know what? It gives you more confidence if he's talking to like decent looking women, so you're not like, like when something really good comes along, you won't be able because I know it's a common thing to get nervous when you really see what you like. It happened. It's common. I researched this, and it's cute and everything, but it makes them nervous. And if that happens, you're finished. I know it sounds cute, like, because they're, oh, it's so nice. Like, they don't know. No, it's not. They don't get it. They don't sympathize, because they don't know. How can they know? A woman's born, and then they start getting it. They're good looking, whatever. They're getting attention, but before they're even 18, they're getting a lot of looks from guys. They're used to getting it. That's what it is. It's all they know. And here you are, a good person and everything, but how are they supposed to know that? And I know they're not there for you. Then I know they're not there for me and everything. And well, you're not supposed to be there. Why? You're too old to be. What? I saw older people. I just told you. I saw a 70, 80-year-old guy, whatever, hanging around there. You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to go there. You're not allowed. What law? Show me. It's not like the right environment for it. Okay. You know how many places are around there? You can't get in? It's private and everything. So whatever answers you're gonna tell me, you're not offering me any advice. You're not gonna tell me anything because I know all this because I've been everywhere. There is nowhere. Okay? As you get older, you get nicely pushed out of all these things. Nicely. Unless you're like a celebrity, high social status or something like that. That doesn't apply then. If you're that. So it doesn't matter. I grew up, I still enjoy, going to these things. You just stay home, not be active, not walk around, not try to talk to people. What's going to happen to you then? You're going to become like a nothing. Just you have to go somewhere if you want to try to socialize and stuff. I told you, I go anywhere and everywhere. Told you, Anaheim, Irvine, whatever. When I was down, I just don't feel like I ain't dancing. It's output, energy outputs is too much. I get into it. I put way too much into it, and then I get kind of upset. I said, man, I really put so much energy here, and I'm not meeting anybody. And I was like, I'm putting on a free show for people. Like, what's wrong? Well, that's just the way that I am. So then just don't do it. You have to draw the line. You can't have it all. There's just not enough time. There's not enough, to focus on anything. I was at the gym today in the morning. Really, and it's amazing. I thought, like, oh, it's cool. Like, no masks finally today. No masks. Man, I went in the gym wearing the mask, and I'm looking around and I see people with no mask. I took that thing off. I started killing that bag. I was like, I can breathe. Now that chick was there. That one that's she's borderline qualifiers. But let me tell you something. I said to myself, this is really important now. I'm going to say something. This is boy. You want to talk about like you believe in God or whatever? God challenging you, testing you, or something like that. Because I do. I don't know, like whatever power, whatever it is. But here, let me tell you something. I go to that gym and I'm focused. And I know there's two bags, and I'm fucking, I'm working with my left leg is a little, like, it's not that strong, when it comes to my left arm, it's not as powerful, I can't, like, plus you see my knuckle still, so what I do, I'll do different types of strikes, different kind of things, learning, everything. And she's like, what happens is there's the area is not that big. It's not a big area where those two bags are. And she likes to work out there, and there's like water dripping from there's a fan or something, the air conditioning unit that doesn't really work. They got a bucket out there. The thing is, you don't want to get too close because by the it's like a black astroturf they have laid down. You can't see where the water is, and I'm like moving around I'm not just standing there hitting the bags. I do like these defensive things where I can kind of deflect bags and then I my footwork. I'm bouncing around. I'm moving everything. I'm moving around. I move it. I move it if I have it. And the thing is, and so she's like right there, and she's like bending over. I don't know like what she's thinking. I don't, and it's like, it's a tough thing because you can't have it all. I said to myself, when I go and I'm doing when I'm pounding that bag and I'm working on this, I'm even talking to myself. Ip, like I don't know, ip man, ip, like hit, left leg up, like I am like I told you, it's like I got Bruce Lee and Ip Man working with me, like they're right there in my mind, I could see them and they're telling me how to do this with no training. Again, I know I took Shotokan and everything, and I watch on YouTube stuff, but you got to understand, as somebody that was like borderline a master dancer in these certain ways, if I could see it, I could do it. And it's like, these movements, it's like a dance. These type of movements that I'm seeing, like it's just flowing. It's becoming automatic to me, except it's contact stuff, like I'm working. I want to get one of those wooden things I've seen. It's like a wooden dummy, but I don't know where to put it, like it's the apartment is because what happens is the wood, when you basically, what you do is there's like these, the wood, and it kind of can move. They stick out from this apparatus, and so what the whole thing is, what you do is the wood is like, and you basically the Wing Chun technique. It's like the wood, and you kind of like, and it strengthens the top part of your forearm. Boom, damn, it teaches you some of these things, and then it's like you can see how you block with it, like, and it shows you exactly how to strike, up like these two things, hand to the eyes, and the guy goes hand to eyeball, like it's like I told you, it's like that meat tenderizer grinder or whatever. Like this little guy, I mean, when you go ahead and watch him and see what he does. I mean, again, I told you, put your hand in there, it's not coming back the same. It's going to be dislocated, broken. It's free trip to Cedar Sinai or whatever local hospital that you're going to have. This little guy that you look at him, you say, what, can you imagine? It doesn't matter the size of security guy or what he thinks he knows. If this guy, like a security guy from a club for whatever reason, and tries to put a hand on this guy, I watched what happened. This one guy, like, he's jogging by, and he just tried to go, a guy, like, he knew who he was, but he wanted to do a demonstration. What would happen if, like, somebody just tried to, like, put a hand on this guy? Oh my God! It was like you ever see the Tasmanian devil that goes like it's like a cyclone, right? Everything's going everywhere, but you see, but this guy's absolutely controlled. It's like, the second the hands come in or the fickle, this guy, it's like I don't know what it was. I don't know where he decided. Whatever he felt like it. Wherever, like, he just felt like, I'm gonna, take this. I feel like I'm going, and he knows probably where everything is that's sensitive and located. And see, that's what I'm starting to study. I'm getting into this anatomy. I started looking up. He says, I want to know the difference between, like, ligaments, tendons, where everything connects. Those guys don't know what they start. You don't know what you're dealing with here. You think I'm just some guy trying to get tough or something like that? Do you think? I mean, you have no idea. Those guys, they picked on me like that. They opened like Pandora's box. It was like an awakening for me. You don't understand what you did, and it doesn't matter, because what's done is done, and what I do is forward now. You don't understand. Like, I get into all when I get into something, I get into something. I don't just, like, it's not like watching some kung fu movies and thinking about Bruce Lee or like some television movies. I don't care about fantasy movies. Okay? I want to know exactly what like the break points are of, like, what I do to incapacitate somebody, to take somebody down. Okay? I want to know how much power I have to hit and work on things. I want to know exactly how everything works when I kick something with maximum force in my hips, how to turn these things. And I can figure it all out on my own because I know how my body works. I get very, very serious and very, very focused when I want something. Not going to change people. So that guy, that, again, insecure gay guy, he came back again. And what happened was, I don't even think he asked me. Like, he just takes out his phone, right? And he put it up there. Like, I was talking to a chick, and again, I was calm. Like this, it's calm. But I didn't even get a word into the guy because he wouldn't listen. I could tell. It was like an asteroid that came in, and whatever, it just bounced away. Like you just, I don't know what happened. Like, he was just probably, I don't know what it was. So what happened? I'm talking to a chick, and he's what I in no man's land. He's not within striking distance or foot there or anything. And he took out, like, his phone, like, very quick. Got the light on. Just take a picture. He didn't turn on the light, like, to record, because that would have been a long time. And if he would have done that, and the light would have gone in my face, then it's on. Okay? I would have gone after to get that phone off of him. I don't care. You don't fucking, for no reason, you don't do that. I draw the line now. Now you're fucking with me. And then now you get my undivided attention. And you see, but it's different. Just because you're using a light on somebody doesn't mean I'm going to hurt you. Okay? It means you got my attention now. I'm coming after that phone. I'm coming after what what you're trying to like hurt me that way. I'm going to disable the object that is causing like what you're doing. More than likely, I would have done that. But so what happened? He took the picture, and I forget like so like takes a picture real quick and then walks and he says something real fast as he and then he runs. Oh, and he goes, "Why are you here? Why are you here?" But I couldn't. It would might have been a millisecond after he finished it, asking it twice. He was gone. It was like he vanished. Like you couldn't respond. It was like the dumbest. If he was on drugs or something, it doesn't like weird. Pickup guys go to every place and any place that they can to put the odds in their favor. Abbey is one of the most famous, one of the most successful nightclubs in the country. It's known for being a gay, nightclub bar, whatever. But I can assure you, like, and the reason I didn't go in is because I got a bottle of water. You can't bring anything in, and I just don't drink anymore, and I just don't want to be in some giant crowded thing because I don't need to, like, we'll go in it. No, I've done, yeah, whatever. I just don't. It doesn't matter. But some insecure guy like that sees me standing out there, like there's so many people, just like picks me out. I saw you like a couple of over the weekend. I saw you here over the weekend. Hey, people were there. Who cares? What's your problem? What's your problem? I didn't even ask him that because I know what it is. He's part of the problem. Take all pictures you want. Stay calm. You're not breaking my frame. Ironically, I was talking about Nazi Germany and Hitler and stuff earlier about the awful things, and I heard on over the radio they were talking about it's amazing just the coincidences about it was like these younger people that were like recruited as the war was coming to an end, like kids and stuff that had to try to like fucking idiot, that made amazing. I was just talking about it, then they talk about it on the radio. Like I see the future kind of thing. I don't claim to see anything, but I feel like there is something, there is some type of premonition. I can absolutely unequivocally guarantee you there is something with regards to some type of psychic ability or shadow forecasting or something. There is, and I can prove it to myself. I don't have to prove it to you. Because I can tell you, I know 100% there is. It's not bullshit. 100%. And not from seeing something from Ingo Swan or remote viewing or anything like that. Okay? There's a connection, something. And this is how I know. My dad was like my hero. He put me like in a Jewish school. I remember like the year he died. His dad smoked. He was in decent shape and everything, but I don't know. I don't know. I think he had a general like heart problem or something. I don't know. And I remember like he had to go in. I actually even before the operation at Cedar Sinai, like a couple months before. I remember like saying to myself like, "Don't let my dad die." So what are you talking about? People like, what do you? I mean, I don't know. Like I was saying to myself, I'd say, "Don't let my dad die." What do you mean? What are you talking about? He's not. He's fine. And then he had to have open heart surgery, like a month later or something like that, a couple weeks, whatever. I had a premonition. was like crying in my bed. I said, don't let my dad die. Don't let my dad die. What are you talking about? All of a sudden, he goes to the hospital, and then he has to have emergency open heart surgery. And the night before the surgery, I got to go to the hospital. And he's crying. My Uncle Mike, my grandmother's brother, he wouldn't let me go. Like, my dad wouldn't let me go. And my Uncle Mike goes, and I'm there. My grandma's brother, my Uncle Mike, he's a great guy. He looked exactly like Paulie, from Burt Young from Rocky. It's almost exactly the same type of face and straight. It's exactly what I'm saying. I go, that's my Uncle Mike. It looks exactly like him. He goes, Artie, let him go. What are you talking? But I'm not shocked of anything because I already knew that he was going to die. I don't know why. I had a premonition or something. I don't know. Way before. And the dad's crying because he feels like he's not going to get through this. 38 years old at Cedar Sinai. He didn't get through it. I guess he died on the operating table. I don't know. I think so. I remember coming home on my bike, and my stepmom asked, hey, how's my dad? He goes, tell you, hey, we get home, you everything. My Uncle Leon, was there. He told me. And I wasn't shocked. I was like 11 or 12 years old. The funeral was like my grandparents, it's their son. They buried their son. My grandma was crying. It was like hundreds of people at that funeral. Hundreds of family. All the Holocaust survivors still alive. Everybody was alive. My dad was like the first person. I mean, it was like he was 38. What? It was like a ridiculous. It's the youngest person in all my family. There's like all these people. That's it, and they're all trying to comfort me, and they're all crying. They're all like, I can't believe it. There's only one person that could believe it. It was me, because I knew already. That's how I know there's something. There is something. There's some type of connection or something. I don't know. The internal, the relationship is, where you come from, because it's like, it's a semen, that's how I was created, through my dad's sperm, like mine. So it's like there's the same thing. It's like you're part of it. And some people they could be, I don't know, distances. I don't know if it has anything to do with the brain or whatever inside, but there's something there. There's a connection of some sorts. Yeah. I was okay with it. And people all thought I was out of my mind. I was something wrong with him. There was nothing wrong. I was just way beyond their time. Like, I'm well advanced. Even at that age, I had that. Like, I learned something. Like, don't get me wrong, it bothered me tremendously, like it was, but in a way, I was like okay with it. Like, it was okay. Like my Uncle Mike, kind of became kind of like a mentor to me, and my Uncle Leon, they kind of like stepped up, like just my dad, I worked at his video store. Just I'm not that kind of person. I'm not the kind of guy to have kids and stuff. It's just not who I am. It's never has been. It's never going to be. I'm just not like that. I'm not into it. I go from like one thing to the next, but I think it's all interconnected and related. Like when I talk about something, like there's like a relationship to certain things that click. And I know some of it sounds campy when I talk Star Trek. I know Zeeb loves it. He's this guy, but I don't think he gets. He might, but I think there's the different reasons. Like he's really into, but He likes it because it's sci-fi. He doesn't really like. He might because maybe through all of this, somebody listens and picks up something. He goes, "Man, yeah, he does make a point. I get what he's talking about. Like the comparisons between, like the Federation Klingon people working together, and like maybe that could be like the U.S. and something else. Is conspiring. It's theories. It's theories. It's not just conspiracy theory, but it's something to say. Well, what do you base his facts on? What are you just talking about? Like, and that's where I get into 9/11 because you see one thing leads to another. I'm not going to repeat the same things over and over again. I'm not going to talk because I already mentioned about the building numbers, the WTC 7 and those two towers. But I didn't talk anything about, and I talked a little bit about that pile of heap of trash or whatever they said they found in Pennsylvania or something, which they couldn't even identify any parts of a plane or anything. I already talked about that. But I didn't mention, and I didn't really mention, I talked a little bit about the plane going into the whatever, into the Pentagon, but I really didn't get into that. But I want to make some points about that because it's like some things, it's like, I mean, I'm going to do this actually on 9/11. I'm going to do a whole complete all of it. Like I can't. There's just too much. There's too like that book. It's like 900 pages because I just don't like. I'm not just going to cover the facts. I'm going to lead this to this to this. I'm gonna put it all out there in little like bite-sized pieces, and I'm gonna let people connect the puzzle themselves and come up with their own ideas of what they think. The bottom line is because I hate when people ask me that. He goes, well, what's the bottom line? The American do it, like without look. If you're in again the orangutan or the ape or the monkey with the bananas and everything like that. Remember what I said about the physics book? You're not going to understand it. It's beyond your comprehension. What do you mean? It's not. It's not. It is. It is because your depth perception of understanding it's so limited. Maybe it's not that limited because it was a human act. Like it's not like an extraterrestrial teaching stuff like that. But it's similar to okay, like the ape and the banana stuff. Maybe it's closer to like understanding full arithmetic into basic algebra. Into that, connecting it to that. So you include the fractions, decimal, and stuff like that. So like taking a banana and cutting it into certain parts, and then understanding, oh, this is a quarter of a banana. This is a fifth. Like so. But it could be taught, I guess. But most people, they're not going to get it because they're on one side of the fence or the other. And you know what? And if you try to no, their emotions are gonna kick in. Their emotions gonna kick in because you're talking about something extremely sensitive. So you're going to get the people are going to get emotional about it, and that's going to infect their any type of rationalization or being able to really just say, hey, let's look at this, objectively, and say, okay, like let's take all this evidence and let's like break it all down and try to put it all together and try to figure this out. And it's not that simple because I don't even know. I'm not saying I have the answer to it, but there's some things like that are absolutely like that weren't really addressed, that weren't really like they weren't really brought out into the light, because they're so sensitive that like then all of a sudden you've got like people on this one side, then the other people on the other side, the truth movement people, which most people call those conspiracy theory wackos, because they're just limited beliefs and they're saying, oh no, inside it was a false flag operation by the U.S. Like created this terrorist act and to set those detonation devices and all these things, and there's a Bush regime, and every. and you're not basing anything on anything. It's just your anger toward like the Republicans or whatever. You didn't like him anyway, and you're just trying to like say, and you have, so you're not putting together anything, and you're just trying to blame somebody instead of, and the other party is like the other people are saying, "They're Americans, man, you're taking down to the country, those people died in those things." And it's like, I'm not negating that, but those, a lot of most people, like, it's like, so, you don't, you can't, their brains are not capable of understanding like science, and not just science, but why things happen. They can't. It's beyond their. It's like it's your. I don't know what to say. I'm like thinking about it. I don't know how to. You couldn't. It's like their minds are so closed, because it's being like kind of controlled in a way. Like, I don't know by what, but it's like it's like it's already, their mind has already been made up. It's like my friend Ruben, he's a great guy, like most people, good people and everything, proud to be an American like me. But when I start talking and I start giving up, like I start going like this, he immediately goes into defense mode and goes, yeah, they don't want to hear those conspiracy theories and nonsense and whatever like that. Not nonsense. Conspiracy theories. I didn't even say that. I'm talking about factual evidence. And I'm not pointing the finger. I'm just trying to like get some information out there into the light, like of possibilities of things that nobody addresses. You won't have any of it. He goes, I saw it on TV. I saw it on TV. This hijacker shows the pictures of all of them. And I said, you saw the plane crash in the Pentagon and everything? He said, I saw it on TV. Yes, I saw it. There was a plane in there. What? Where? You know how much research I've done trying to see that plane going in? Like, I want to see. And then everybody they backs it up and they go, oh, no, no. All those tapes, everything. There's one video, the footage. What is it? I don't know. It's from the Pentagon. It's a shot, like a shoddy video that they showed like in slow frame, and it's just real fast. You see this thing just in the building, like at a ground level almost, and it just blows up like a missile or something. And it's like, this is 2001. This shoddy video, like you can't even see nothing clearly. Well, people didn't really have cell phones and camera phones back then. It's nothing. Nobody, like, really. There was like camera crews out there and everything. Well, then the building collapsed. That park top that they showed. There was like this circular thing going in, like a missile or something. A missile or something. A missile or something hit the Pentagon. What are you talking about? There's supposed to be a plane that went in there. And there's pictures of people walking, like there's FBI or whatever. They're walking around like with I saw pictures, carrying out evidence, carrying around like with the parts of that American Airlines. It says on there, it's like I don't know, it's like anything they could carry. They just like walk off with it. Walk off with it. Where are you going? Where are you taking that? It's a crime scene. I talked about that. I talked about that in the what happened. There's video. There's clear video news report footage of them moving around stuff that morning to where whatever. Just we'll move it out of the way so I can get a clear picture of it. Move it over where you can get a clear picture. You're moving shit from where it is. What the hell are you doing? Who said you can? Somebody said, yeah, you can do this. A plane is big. Well, I don't know. It's 757, 747. I don't know. They're all big. They're big passenger planes. They don't disintegrate. I don't care what they hit. I don't care how fast they're going. I don't know what top speed is, 600 miles an hour, 650 or something. I don't care. They don't disintegrate. There's too much shit there. Okay, there's too much the body of the plane and everything like that. That's the claim. There's nothing, when it hit the Pentagon, it went in there and that's it. It's gone. It disintegrated. It disintegrated? Yeah, the fuel and the thing, it just, everything's gone. It's barely, it shows just a hole, everything. Do you know how, like, yeah, how, I'm not basing my entire argument on this, but do you know how ridiculous if somebody said that, what I would like, you know, I'm not even starting. I can't respond. It's so ridiculous. And then the conspiracy theory guys, and they start up and then they go, okay, well, no, no, no. What happened is, and there's all these witnesses saying, the plane didn't hit it, that the plane went over. The plane didn't hit it, and it went over. It kept going. What happened? And then the conspiracy theories, they keep going. Because I'm listening to everybody. I want to know what they're thinking. I want to know what they're thinking, and then I want to know what happened. Telling me, he says, well, you can't. And the video is like, oh, the FBI is sensitive. They don't want to show the public, or they don't want to show. They don't want to give the terrorists any ideas or anything. And then you just basically, it's case closed. It's over. That's it. Everybody go back to work now. Oh, then there's a war. Okay, but I don't want to go forward. I want to stick on this. There's a couple of things I want to mention about that Pentagon thing. Now, last time I checked, if my memory serves, there's a place called Andrews Air Force Base within 10 miles of the Pentagon, and it's right there. They scramble planes. It's like, because the White House is there, all these things are there. Something happens, they scramble immediately. There's a no-fly zone. Do you know what that means? I mean, it's a 10-mile radius. There's a no-fly zone. Anything like approaching that area, it could be destroyed. That's how it works. I'm sorry. You can be shot down for the sake of the security of the country, national security. You can't. Doesn't matter. Those lives are expendable. You're going into forbidden area that's sensitive, and I'm sorry. Planes, the scramble, the F-18s and stuff, and they're given the commands. They shoot it down, no questions asked. Period. It's over. Not that morning. What do you mean? Why not? What happened? What? There's no planes in the air. What do you mean? There's no plane? Well, there are planes, but they're practicing. They're doing drills and stuff. There's jets. You mean there's jets, and they're doing drills? Yeah, they're practicing for something. They're practicing for something as like this plane, this passenger, the American Airlines jet just flies right in the Pentagon. I can't, like I it's like They caught us by surprise. We didn't. They caught us by surprise. I mean, you don't like see anything coming. Like there's. I thought last time I researched this thing. It's called like NORAD, and what they do is like they monitor everything that's in the air. Like they know everything that's going on. It's like in Colorado, I think, Wyoming or whatever, that mountain, in Cheyenne Mountain stuff, and they. Sorry, let me get my eye. They know everything. They know where Santa is, don't they? I know it's a joke, but I mean, I'm serious because and they knew like these planes that hit like the World Trade Center and these other planes that are in the air, and they didn't do anything. That's the brains of the department, defense. That's the, the the decision. The decisions are made in Washington, but like the real like the central nervous system, I guess. I don't know, the brains. Decisions are made in Washington, but that's where they see everything. And you're telling me they didn't do anything? I have like a question to ask because it doesn't make much sense. But that's not my question. My question is why. Well, the conspiracy theory people say because they allowed it to happen. What do you mean they allowed it to happen? What does that mean? Well, they is that people like I guess very powerful. They why would why? Because you gain something off of something. It's keep going. Why? And just try to put it together one piece at a time. I know why. It's not that important. I'm not going to tell you. Not now, anyway. All I'm going to do on the 9/11, I'll do the whole full thing about it. And I'm still not going to tell you why at the very end. I'm not going to tell you because I'm going to let you put it all together yourself and come up with your own theory after everything's out there presented. Because I don't know why. I don't know why people do what they do. I'm not like clairvoyant or psychic. I don't know. But when things happen, they happen for a reason. If you think this COVID is like just yeah, it's a mistake that happened. It's look at this thing that happened, and you don't think things are scripted, not like a movie or something like that, or like a TV show, but you don't think there are people, there's whatever that decide the way the world is going to go. I mean, they can't really stop the world from turn. I mean, what it's talking about is carrying out an agenda. just a plan of a direction that people like they want certain things to happen. And it's like, you know, they have their goal, whatever it is. I don't know what the end game is. I don't know. I think I do, but again, I'm not going right to the end with my. I'm not going to throw out because see what happens is if you just what's the bottom line? I want you to know. I want to know what you're thinking. It sounds absolutely ridiculous because you're not allowing me to explain my thought process and the research that is put together. What the way that I formulate it. Because again, most people are on just one side or they're on the other. It's like most people are Democrat or the Republican. And the people that are Democrat, they don't like the Republicans. And the people that are Republicans don't care for the Democrats. So you got this constant battle, like this constant thing, always going against each other. Doesn't matter. This person wins sometimes, and it's like, then they win. It's but it's like just it's a constant like thing, and I don't look at any of that when formulating my decisions or my opinions. It's not it's impartial, but it's like I don't care about any of that because to me, everything you see that they talk about, anything the politics or anything, they're so far in front of what I'm thinking of. What I'm looking at is so far beyond them that you can't even understand it. You can't because you don't do research. You're just watching it on TV or maybe like looking at maybe a book or something like that. But you're seeing what's played out by what's in front of you. But it goes further than that. And then it goes further than that. And it goes even further than that in all the way to things that you have no idea that you would not believe that are because it's not for you to know. David Icke makes some very, very interesting points. I'm not saying he's absolutely accurate on this, but it's an amazing way of view that he sees things. I mean, if he just came out right away and just said, look, there's these creatures, these argons, the reptilian race that they live off of negative energy. Look at this guy, like, he's what? He's insane. Where's your proof? It's over. It's finished. But I didn't say that. I'm not saying like it's all them doing this or anything. But you can't talk to most people about that. They're gonna think you're a wacko, so a whack job or something. Where's your proof? Where's the lizard people or whatever? Where are they? They're the ones. What do you? They need the negative energy, and so they're doing this, and that's that. This guy is out of his mind. Forgot what I wanted to talk about something. Oh, COVID. I want to end this on like COVID. While I think about this, Again, I think that everything is designed and it's scripted to be executed like a plan. It's thought through. And then it's like, make it so, like just engage, whatever. It's a Star Trek, it's a Picard. I know it's a stupid reference, but it's like, I think these things like are designed a long time ago, and they have to be done. I'm going to tell you what my reason is for COVID, like what I think about COVID, really. I know I'm not thinking about it. I know what I think. I know what it is. In my opinion, I don't really talks about it. I can't tell you absolutely 100%. Like it was designed by the U.S. Army and released in Wuhan or something. I don't know. Or that guy that made a reference in that book about it in the 80s or something. I don't know. I don't think that has really anything to do. But I think there's people like behind, beyond, and beyond, and they say we got a problem here. What's the problem? You ever look at the world population graphs? Pull one of those up when you have a chance, and go look at it from like the year, I don't know, it doesn't matter, 1700 all the way, and look, this goes like, I'll start at the bottom. There's like the first billion people, whatever, didn't make a billion until like, I forget what year it's, I don't know, was it like around 1900 or something? I don't know. Then like, the Industrial Revolution, and it's like, then the whole thing went to two, three, four, five, like, and then it's like straight up like this. It goes like this. Okay. Is it possible that there's some very, very powerful people or whatever that says we gotta put a stop to this, and we gotta put a stop to this now? The planet is not going to sustain. This is getting ridiculous. Again, I don't know if whatever. Who knows what it is that makes these decisions? Who knows if there is? But I entertain the possibility. It's more than likely that's what it is. That's what it was. It was thought out a long time ago. And it's not, you don't understand, it's not simply about just getting rid of people. It goes a lot further than that, but you have to think things through. Punch up worldometers and see how many people died from COVID, how many people were infected by it. I don't know, America, whatever. I know it isn't like the bubonic plague or anything like that. Well, it didn't really reduce the world population, did it? It didn't. Look at people to procreate. They have to meet. I know that. If you create a scenario where people can't meet, stops them from procreating. That's exactly what COVID did. It didn't matter what it was. It just happened to be that. It kept people from socializing, from getting together, from meeting. But the most normal, the average schmo is going to look at this, and they're going to say, Well, it can't be that. It can't be that because not that many people died from it. Can't be. It couldn't be to stop the world population or bring it down. It can't be, or to level it off. It can't be. But you're not looking at the grand scheme of things because you're not doing the research. You're not understanding past above. You're not going deeper into the understanding here of what is going on. It changed human ways of the dynamic of the planet. Those whoever it is, whatever it is, they know this. They knew this a long time ago. They're way ahead of everything with whatever if it's an experiment or whatever. They know. Everything happens for a reason. Everything. Everything. It's not an accident and it's not a mistake. There's designs, people that lay these things out. And whoever it is has a lot of money and a lot of power. Somebody sees billionaires, whatever. What do they need all that money for? What do they need the money for? If you say that, then your head is really in the sand. Deep in there. Don't you know, like the laws, things can be changed? Like with power and money. Let me give you an example. And this comes full circle to how I started this conversation. That's how I'm going to finish it. I talked about the nightclub, the Abbey that I was standing outside, right? The thing. This is the first thing I started with. This is how it ends. How things come full circle. What goes around comes around. Well, you're talking about, we're talking about money and power things. What does that have to do with that nightclub incident you had or whatever? They closed the street on Robertson for that nightclub over the past couple weeks or whatever. Major street for traffic to go through. They block it. The sheriff's blocking it, parking enforcement blocking it completely. Can't go in and out, whatever. What does that have to do with the coronavirus and the money and everything like that? Or power and control or anything? I want you to think for a second before I tell you. The dude that owns that club, he's a billionaire. He wants that street closed. It's closed. For whatever reason. Close the street in the Los Angeles. What gives him the right to do that? That's what he wants. And the law enforcement enforces that. You're telling me something like this doesn't go on all the time on a bigger scale? People of tremendous wealth and power, They want something. They use that money as leverage to get things what they want done. Unfortunately, some things are don't sit well with most people. And they don't even have to really stick their neck out to do it. They can have other people. It doesn't matter. They're connected to the decision makers. That's why everything happens for a reason. You just don't know about it until it makes the news. I didn't know, hey, when that coronavirus hit and everything, I didn't know about any of this. Or 9/11, I was in the gym. I was working out on that morning. You saw watching that little TVs there. Second plane goes in. Everybody saw it. I know. I keep going because it just sounds so ridiculous to me. When you look at the narrative, wait. You're telling me this story. These is whatever 18 hijackers and stuff, and they flew these planes perfectly into this or that ground level thing. Like that went right in the Pentagon. And it's like perfectly square. They all were able to get in the cockpits and just execute a plan like without. And you here, we have this thing, this military, like they didn't do anything. They didn't know about it. They didn't know about what do you mean? They were caught off guard. They're caught off guard. Weren't prepared. You weren't prepared. I'm waiting for the punchline here because I don't understand where this goes. I do you see how ridiculous this sounds? And I even put nothing. I'm like that. That's like a little tiny little piece of something I'm putting out there. I know I didn't. It sounds absolutely ridiculous. I don't know the guy's name. You know what? I've heard of this. It mentions it in the book. But there was a 99 billion with a B. There's a $99 billion lease that was taken out on I think one of the trade centers or maybe both. I don't again. No, I don't know. I'm not professing I know everything of everything about this. But I do know that there was a guy, I forget it was his name was Silverstein or something. He took out a $99 billion insurance policy on one of those buildings for the act of, to prevent terror, it got into insurance against terrorism, against the terrorist attack. What do you, how come this guy's never been on the news or investigated or talked about or anything? Building 7. There's no like really good footage of anything. Somebody overheard somebody say pull it or something like that, and the building comes down, is demolished or something. I don't know. What the hell is going on? I would. It goes really far. The most disturbing. I don't even think I want to finish this one because the most disturbing thing I've ever heard. I should save it. I should save it for 9/11. It was reported by the Akron Beacon Journal. It was just. They said those planes were diverted. The one that was supposed to hit the Pentagon, it didn't. Something else hit it. It was a missile. Oh no. Prototype. There was a possible drone, they said, disguised as an American Airlines plane, small or something. And those are the fragments that they said it might have been picking up, those guys walking off with. It was a drone, and it went through some of those rings, like all the way through. How far? Like went through 3 of those things, whatever. If you look at the schematic of the Pentagon, it shows like the rings and this thing going through, like a Predator type drone missile or something. Whatever. Where'd it come from? How come there's no video of it? Nobody talks about anything of this. It's like really important to try to figure out what happened. Because if you figure it out, what happens, if you figure out what happened, then you can figure out what's going to happen. It leads forward, and it's like, you don't want to. No. You can't talk about this. It doesn't matter. It's over already. It's 20 years. That's what my friend says. It's over already. It doesn't matter anymore. It's over. It doesn't matter anymore, and it's over. She says, I don't know. Does it sound familiar to you? That American Airlines plane, didn't hit the Pentagon. Where did it go? Where'd it go? It went somewhere. Somebody saw it go somewhere. Nobody talks about it. Not me. But I found a report, made a claim of where that plane went. I'm gonna save that one for. I want to save that one for the September 11th because there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't want to just. It's not like, well, you're not telling us. You're not telling us what happened. because I don't know for sure. It was a story that was published by the Akron Beacon Journal. Now, I did see a thing on the National Geographic one time where it shows the planes that were, that were followed, and then it was like one went off a radar, another one took this course, and they make the claim there was multiple planes disguised to look like similar ones. I don't know, similar thing. But that's not what the claim is by the Akron Beacon Journal. The claim is that American Airlines plane was diverted, forced to land somewhere. The narrative says, I think it's Cleveland Hopkins, the airport was vacated. Was told everybody had to leave. Couldn't stay there, for whatever. There's a national emergency going on or whatever. And that plane landed there. Where is it? It couldn't have gone there. It couldn't have landed there. There's people there. People in the planes, where are they? Where are they? Where's the plane? There's a NASA hangar there too as well. As far as I know, big hangar. The report claims that plane was brought in there. What happened to the people? Is it possible? I told you there's things that you couldn't believe that were beyond anything. The let's roll thing, Pennsylvania, that it sounds real, like, heroic and everything. Who knows? There's no video footage of those people taking a stand against those terrorists that took those planes over. There was a big fight, everything, and there's video. They say the plane crashed. Who knows? But I already talked about this. That F-18s or whatever that have missiles, they're instructed to take down that plane. That's it. There's no question. You have to look at all possibilities, everything of what's possible. People reported this white plane that was up there, that was circling around. Witnesses, like, what was it? What's it doing there? So much. It's not. I'm not going to even again. I'm going to save for the 9/11. You know, the real, like. There's a lot more. A lot. Awful. If you think about it. I didn't come up with that theory about that plane landing there and those people being taken off that plane. Or what happened, or what wound up happening to them. You can use your imagination on that one. They're not here anymore. That's for sure. Either way, they're not. You know, many people talk about it. You know, they don't want to discuss it. You know, it just doesn't make any sense. Something doesn't make any sense. It's worth thoroughly investigating until an answer, until there's something resolved. I'll do other ones. I'm going to talk about other guys. I'm going to remember this. I'll do one where I talk about Tesla, Wilhelm Reich. He's incredible people. Yeah, Wilhelm Reich was erased from history, you know, for what he did. That's going to take me a long time to get, you know, a while to explain about him. People that know, they know who he was. By the way, he's American, of German descent, but he's a scientist, American scientist. Incredible visionary, working on things, you know, to cure cancer, everything. Then the FDA stepped in and made sure, hey, dude, you're done. Interesting, you know. History, you know, it really is interesting. A lot of things that people don't really thoroughly investigate, which I find interesting. Problem is, people watch too many shows like X Files and things like that, and you think that's the way it goes down. You know, make it cute. You know, remember the pilot episode of the X Files? You know, or the second episode is really cool. Like, you know, he's on. You know, there's a whatever Fox Mulder. You know, he wants to believe. So you go on this fairy tale, this thing with him. I think it was a pilot episode or second one, and these kids, there's like this fence and there's a hole in it, and they just go, "Don't go beyond the thing, man." We see these lights out there and everything like that, and try to sell the generic narrative of like the experiments, whatever, the Area 51 thing, whatever. I don't say nonsense because I don't know it. It's a generic thing that they've been playing out for a long time. The triangle shaped ships and whatever and all this stuff, and nobody has a clear picture of it. And it's a what is it? The TR3B. They call it, and it's called that. Who says? Where's the proof of anything? You have nothing. Same with the lights in the Arizona lights. The same thing. These guys, this fucking, everybody out there that whatever, they saw these lights, this giant craft or something like that. Where's your fucking pictures? Where's your real proof? You saw something. You saw something? You don't have like a real good quality camera or something? The high resolution, even back then? Any of those people flew over like the city and everything. It's like a gigantic thing. It's like you don't have nothing. You have schematic drawings of this type of boomerang type thing with all this row of lights on it. And then some people say, no, it's a formation of these ships, a fleet of something. A formation of ships? A fleet of something? You say you saw something and nobody has any pictures of anything. The schematics, yeah, like drawings, conceptual, or like some thing taken at night, or poor footage of. Didn't make any sound. I know, I heard that 1,000,001 times. It didn't make any sound. Giant ship, triangle shaped or whatever. And you have no footage. All these people saying and saw these things all around the planet and everything like that. You got no video footage clearly. That night or something like that. It's where's it going? What is it? Okay, where's I do one on chemtrails also. Remember what I said about that billionaire that owns that nightclub? That's just one person who wants a street closed for whatever reason, and it's no problem. What happens when somebody's way more powerful than that, or way more well connected than that? You don't think they could just about do whatever the fuck they want? Whatever, anything. Is it moving the chess pieces around on that board? Like I said, you know what? I want to like do this. Like that's what I want. I want to see if I can do that. Whatever reason. that guy, that guy that had that island, that billionaire, Epstein or whatever. I do one on that too. Wait till how far that one goes. There's all the way down the rabbit hole on that one. The whole way. No, people talk about it. People talk about the different ideas and their theories and their things. It's, I'm not the only, I didn't create, saying I'm the only one thinking like going along or trying to, but I'm trying to expand on things. I'm trying to have an open mind, but investigate, like and see, okay, well, because most people, again, like I said, they're on one side or the other. They're not saying like, well, I'm not saying I'm in the middle, but I'm just curious, like, like what's the reasoning behind something? I think everything has a purpose. Everything happens has a reason and like a purpose of why things happen. I just find it interesting. Everything. I don't know. Like, and I think that the reason that most people don't find this interesting or they can't research, can't like really get into it is because they're just too focused, on the money, like the survival. I don't have time. I got to make a living. I got to survive. You take a good look on what's on the back of the dollar bill for a reason. Think about that. $1. It's the most like it's like everything is based on that. I have $10. I have $100. They put that pyramid on there for a reason. It's there on like the most common bill of all on the back, clear as day on the bill. It's not like the 5 or the 10 that has like Independence Hall or anything or 20 or anything like that. That pyramid is there for a reason. It means something. It's not just some artist that had an idea that that'd be kind of cute. Let's put a pyramid on the back of the dollar bill with that eyeball on there, or whatever. Why is it there? What's it there for? Who's people don't quite wonder why. You don't look into anything. You don't care. It doesn't matter to them. It just matters that it has use and that I need it. I have to have it. It's like the second most important thing. That in most people's lives. I guess the first would be breathing. I think I don't know. I need air first, or maybe food comes after, water. But I have to have that money. That's the only way to survive. I have to do one on that too. I have to do like a whole thing about that. Not the creation of money. That's not what's important. That's not what's important. Like money goes back to other cultures and everything. That's not what's important. When you think about like what I think is important when it comes to money, especially the U.S. dollar, like what's the like the like what's going on with it? Like why is everything based on that? Like why it controls everything? Why? I'll do a full thing on that. do the discussion of the meeting. Hmm. Okay, people don't even know about that. The Federal Reserve System. Most people don't know. Well, that's the yeah, it's a government thing. They print up the money. The mint prints up the money, but use Federal Reserve System, which is about as federal as Federal Express. Privately owned. Do you know what that means? It's a lot. It's a lot, to take into consideration, and when you start putting it all together, you look at everything and the way everything functions. When you put it all together, everything, start to see the direction and the way everything is going. But you can't. You can't. You want me to sum it all up in like in an hour and a half or a fast paragraph? What do you think? What's happening? What's going to happen? I can't tell you because if I give you like what it's like I have to explain. I have to put it's like I have to put it together piece by piece. Or else it doesn't work. It's like I know I'm going to use an awful analogy, but it's meant in good fun. The Death Star. The remember I was talking about the inner workings of the Death Star, those tubes and everything. The everything it had to be built together. It all comes together, and then the whole thing is built. So it's efficient. Everything works, and that laser on it. That fucking became operational. I can connect that too. The Death Star laser, possibly. But it's too deep. I can't. I'm not gonna give it. I can't. Because it's if I tell you what I think that is, how that relates to today, you don't have enough. You don't have enough background and knowledge to understand like what I'm saying. It's like you can't comprehend it because it won't make any sense. How can it make sense? Because you won't understand. You don't understand the big picture of everything, of how this connects to this, and that happens because of this, and this is part of this, and this relates a little bit to this, and this is also part of it. But you say, well, I want all of this, and I want it like told as simple as possible. It would be like again the orangutan and the monkey, and it's like instead of the physics book, I want you to tear out like a little bit of page right there, and I want you to tell me summarize all of it, just in a little tiny thing there, and then I want you to explain it to me, like show it to me like that. It doesn't work that way. It's not that simple. There's a lot to be said. It's like if somebody says, "Tell me all of the U.S. history, like everything in just like a sentence or something." How much can you tell them? How can you explain it all? You can't. There's a lot that has happened, and a lot that it leads to that has happened, and a lot that's going to happen based on what has had happened. I just find it interesting. I'm not trying to be like saying that, oh, everybody's got to be like, as one guy said about this, what's it, Amifa movements or whatever. These people, I don't care about any of that. I don't care about anything. I didn't say I don't care about anything, but I don't care about like their ridiculous causes. These people, they're irrelevant to me. They mean nothing. I mean, I'm not really a historian. I mean, I just find some things very fascinating, and it's sometimes very sad, but it's very interesting. What's even more interesting is to me is that some of it is just looked over, like it's discarded as discounted. It doesn't count. It counts for nothing. Sorry, I'm a little tired, so that's why I'm rubbing my eyes and my face. I'm yawning at the same time. You can't invest it. You can't really like put energy into discovering these things when your emphasis is so much on, I have to make money. See why? Because it controls everything. It really does. There was a time it didn't. What do you think life was like back then? I don't know. I have some theories. I have some interesting viewpoints, and that will be my longest one of all, longest live feed of all, and I'll decide when to go on that. But I will attack an issue that, like, I will attack that issue that has never been discussed by anybody. Okay, no, it has been by a. There is a video, the Zeitgeist stories cover that. Besides that, I know nobody's ever thrown out the theory of how how this country could function without the use of money. What about the barter system? Is that what you're talking about? Nope, no barter system. Well, what else is there? Everything costs money. So how can a society function without the use of money? Doesn't exist. Let's say it doesn't exist. Well, I trade. It's barter system. I already said there's no barter. You can't think of a way because your mind is not capable of it. Maybe you can. I did, and it's not that hard. It takes a little bit of creativity. Completely different way of societal functioning. One friend goes, "Well, you do like a kibbutz living where people grow their own vegetables and like the Amish or something like that." Like everybody, the whole world's gonna live on like we're gonna make this giant farm, like everybody's gonna live on this farm or something. That's nonsense. It's not practical. It's stupid. Come on. It's 2021. That's not. It's nothing like that. I told you, your mind is not capable of figuring this out. Maybe it is. I'm leaving this up there. If you think you have an idea about what I'm talking about, post comments down below when I post this. or whenever, maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, still alive. If I'm alive, I'd like to see if you can try to figure this one out. Because I'm not going to tell you that 100%. I'm not going to open up on that one because it would take me too long, to explain that. Okay, I think 1 hour 45 minutes is enough. Um, this was good. I felt like I talked about a lot of pressing, interesting things that are worth thought, deep thinking. A little bit of everything. I like to do that. I like to do that. I like to talk about things that people don't really discuss or possibly find interesting. It makes for interesting conversation. We'll carry it on next time, hopefully. Warrior Junior. So far, still Warrior Junior. Until I'm a smart warrior. Signing out.